The regular council meeting of July 13th, 2015. So please call the roll.
Lala.
Here.
Dixon.
Here.
Gibbons.
Here.
Hannon.
Here.
Harrison.
Here.
McLean.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
O'Brien. Tate.
We have 7 members present. This time we stand for the pledge of allegiance. Okay, we have no chair announcements. I'm sorry, we have one chair announcement. Executive session of council was held on Monday, June 22nd, 2015, to discuss police personnel issues. At this time, I'd like to turn to the reports of the officials and librarians.
Mr. Murray,
Mr. Harrison.
did you in fact call a brief executive session tonight in the caucus room?
We can't. Yeah, we had also, apologize, we had an executive session tonight before we came out, July 13, 2015, to discuss police personnel issues. Thank you, Mr. Harrison.
Good evening. My name is Christine. I am the director of Your Public Library, where we provide services to inform, inspire, and enrich the community. Summer reading clubs are in full swing. If you have not already joined, there is still time to join the summer reading clubs. We have clubs for birth through older adults, so come into the library. Summer reading club runs through August 8th. On Tuesday, July 14th at 10 a.m., Rob will be teaching a class on PowerPoint Online where you'll learn the basics of the presentation software. This is an Oasis Connections course, which is geared toward those that are 50 and older. Each participant is provided with a student handbook to use in class and to take home afterwards. We do ask that you register. The class is 2 hours long. On Thursday, July 16th at 2 p.m., Rob will be teaching a Google Drive class where you'll learn how to create and use your own free cloud with Google. He'll cover setting up an account, storing files, and using Google Docs. Friday, July 17th, we have Conversation Salon. That is becoming a very popular group, so they are now meeting every other Friday instead of once a month. So they'll be meeting Friday, July 17th, and then again on August 7th at 10 a.m. Those seeking a refreshing break from the daily grind, uninspired television shows, and surfing the web will find like-minded individuals at this Conversation Salon. The group seeks the satisfaction and inspiration of face-to-face conversations about topics that are enlightening and relevant. On Friday, July 24th, from 10 a.m. until noon, the YWCA will be at the library taking appointments to assist with health insurance applications. So if you do not have health insurance or have questions about your health insurance, please call the library or call 211 to make an appointment. Again, that's Friday, July 24th from 10 a.m. until noon. And we have an interesting and fun fundraising activity going on. Bethel Bakery will turn 60 in September. The library will turn 60 in October. Bethel Bakery, now through the end of August, they have a new cookie flavor. It's a half-dipped strawberry shortbread cookie. So proceeds from the purchase of that particular cookie flavor will be divided up between 3 organizations: the library, the Bethel Park Community Foundation, and the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Each cookie's 46 cents a piece, or $5.50 for a dozen. So you get to enjoy a nice cookie and support these fine organizations. That is all I have this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'd like to turn to the police chief report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Hi, Chief Tim O'Connor. Thank you for coming out tonight. We will not have a monthly Crime Watch meeting in August. Our next meeting will be Monday, September the 14th at 6:30 p.m. at the Community Center. That's the second the second Monday of the month, because Memorial Day is the first Monday of the month. Also in August, we are going to have National Night Out. Tuesday, August the 4th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. You can register with the Crime Prevention Office, 831-6800, extension 107. And what that is a nationwide event to promote community involvement in crime prevention activities, strong community, law enforcement partnerships, and send a message to criminals that crime is not welcome. We already have one street sign up and register. They're going to have a block party that night, and we're looking for more participants as we get closer to the date. And finally, we are on Facebook, so you can access us at facebook.com/Bethel Park Police. And if you look on there, we put daily updates as necessary about traffic conditions or criminals that have been arrested and other things that are going on within our department, so we can be as transparent and get as much information out to the community as possible. So I thank you. I'm going to turn this over to our fire chief.
Good evening. My name is Dave Gerber. I'm the fire chief of the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. In the month of June, the fire department ran 39 fire calls, 19 fire alarms, 5 CO alarms, 2 tree/mulch fires, 3 smoke or odor investigations, 6 gas leaks, 1 power line that was down, 1 transformer that was on fire, and 2 rapid intervention calls out of town, totaling 39 calls. I'll just be real brief this evening. I just want to let everybody know that we are still actively seeking new members. Anybody who is interested in becoming a new member, you can stop down at the Clifton Fire Station any Monday night, except the second Monday of the month. We have meetings that night, so we're not there that night. But or else you can go online to the Volunteer Fire Company's website, which is BethelParkVFC.com. Go on the link for looking for new members. To give you information there. There's phone numbers on there. You can get a hold of us if you have any questions. But we are actively seeking more members. So all your training's included, all your gear and stuff's included. We pay for everything. We just need bodies, and we'll get you going from there. So if anybody is interested, we'd love to have you. Male, female, whatever. We'd love to talk to you. So feel free to give us a call. Block party season's up and running. If you see us out and about to the block parties, please feel free to come up and talk to our men and women. We're out at several different things. Rev Up and Roll, I believe, is coming out soon. Stop by, see us there. Like I said, we'll be out for, I believe, National Night Out. We will be out along, I believe, with the police department with some activities and stuff going around to different places there. So if you see us, please feel free to stop up, ask any questions. We'd be more than happy to talk to you. Fundraising is coming out. Our second letter, if you didn't donate yet, you should get a second letter asking to please donate. That should be coming out, I believe, at the end of July, I was told. So it's coming up in the next couple weeks. Just remember that your donations and stuff still go towards buying fire trucks, buying equipment, and all that. The tax money that's building the new building and is also paying for the other 2 buildings that we operate goes towards that. Your donations pay for the fire trucks, truck payments we have every month, gear, and equipment and stuff that we use. So if you can donate, we would still greatly appreciate it if you could. And the last thing, one of the biggest questions we get from everybody is about the new building. If you've been past the Brightwood Fire Station down there, it's coming along good. They're pouring cement like crazy. I believe the next big and exciting date, Jerry Duke keeps telling us, is July 27th is steel date. So they'll be starting to put up steel here in the next couple weeks. We're still very excited. So with that, that's all the things I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chief, we turn to the mayor's report and Mayor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a couple items tonight. The first one I wanted to mention is Sunday, July 26th, is Rev 'em Up for Kids in South Park Fairgrounds. Show hours are 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's $5 per car, and all the proceeds go to our rec department. Okay, the second item I'm really excited about because this is a project we've worked on for a long time. So I would like to introduce at this time, or have come forward, 4 Girl Scouts from Bethel Park Troop 51385, 12-year-old cadets. And there's 4. I may screw up the pronunciation of the names, though. Emily Carter, Brianna Giuski, okay, Allison Kurtz, and Madison. Right. I'll tell you what, with these 4 girls, it's amazing. We put, as you know, we have our military banner program up, which goes all the way from the beginning of Bethel Park on Route 88 all the way down to South Park. And we also have the banners on South Park Road from down at Get-Go all the way to McMurray Road. Well, the problem we've had over the years was, and by the way, we have 387 banners up, but people don't know where their banners are. So we had the person that does our banners developed a program that these 4 girls took the initiative that they went with a GPS system on their phone to every pole where a banner was, scroll down the name, and put the name to the pole. So you can go on to the Bethel Park website, left hand, I'm giving the instructions because I checked it out today. The left-hand side, go down to Veterans Memorial, click on Hometown Heroes, and what that link will do is hook you up with the American Legion website also. So it's on the Bethel Park, and it's also on the American Legion. Then what happens when you click on Locate a Banner, there'll be a scroll down for a name. So all you have to do is scroll down, look for the name you're looking for, click it on, the banner appears at the intersection where the banner is. It might not be exact, but if it's King's School and 88, you know what area to go to. So I want to commend these 4 young ladies because this is an unbelievable project. And because of that, I have a citation. And they're all the same, but I'm going to read the one with the easiest name to pronounce. So this is presented to Emily Carter. It's for your dedication to the Bethel Park community, awarded this 13th day of July 2015, signed by myself. So thank you very much, girls. Emily? Thank you. Thank you, Madison. Thank you very much. And Brianna. Now the tough part is, anybody want to say something? Well, we appreciate what you've done for Bethel Park, and we certainly appreciate what you've done for the Legion also, and all the veterans. So thank you very much. Now the big news, and I'm sure everyone on council gets this question every week at least one time, when are you doing Brightwood Road? Well, here's the release. Please be informed that the Allegheny Department of Public Works has awarded the Land Construction the contract for Brightwood Road. It will begin on July 30th of 2015, and from July 30th to August 21st, it looks like it'll be mostly prep work, and the road will actually be closed from West Monroe Street to approximately 1,000 feet from the intersection of Brightwood Road and South Park. And then after that, the prep work is done, then they'll close Brightwood Road. It'll still be open, it'll be flagged, and we'll get this project done. They'll only work from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and it should take just 1 month from the time they begin to the time they end. So Brightwood Road's going to get done. And that's my report.
That's the second best news you've had on my career.
Mr. Murray,
Mr. Harrison.
at this juncture of the meeting last month, I asked for the floor, which was granted. And the reason I asked for the floor was my continuing concern of our governmental bodies. We have a president who basically thumbs his nose at the Constitution every day. At the last meeting, we have a mayor that did not meet a mandated criteria in the Home Rule Charter that says he is to give a state of the municipality meeting at the June meeting. I requested a verbatim recording of what I said to be published in the meeting minutes, which was done. I did that because I wanted to review what I said to make sure I said what I wanted to say, and yes, I did. And I can tell you, having reviewed the record, there's no content of what I had to say which is untrue. This is important to note because of the statement made by Council President Maury immediately after my presentation. The minutes, which a person get a copy of, records the following statement by Maury. Most everything he said is not true. I do not want to go into all the dynamics, but we go on and on about the same thing because Don says it's true, it's gospel. I don't even want to get into, and then there was a pause, what he says isn't true. That's all. What he says isn't true. Council members elected Murray to council president seat. He is responsible to maintain the order and decorum of the meetings. From his seat, he often accuses me of lying, as he did, as noted above. Maury never explains the bases for his accusations. This is unacceptable conduct by Maury. His accusation deserves an explanation. I often note that my mother used adages to train my siblings and me. One adage that is apropos to this situation under discussion is, silence is consent. Maury's fellow council members quietly sit like a bump on a log, that's another one of my mother's expressions, and therefore implicitly supports Maury's false statements about this. This is unbecoming of your governing body. Maybe we have come to expect such conduct for our governing body. Note that your governing body violated the Bethel Park Constitution and Home Rule Charter by their action to place the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company question on a primary ballot. The question was okay, but the timing violated the Home Rule Charter. Rest assured that I am one councilman that will endeavor to keep you informed of any unacceptable conduct and highlight any actions contrary to the Home Rule Charter. Thank you.
One quick comment, I'll just say what I said last month. Most of what he said is not true. I'm not going to get into it again, it's over and over. Okay, any other discussion from council?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. O'Brien.
Donald, I understand that you have your say here. It's disturbing in a lot of ways. There's so many issues that are pending for this community on the edge to start working on, to develop, to look for the future. Just sitting here listening to you, I wrote down like the design of the fire department, the actual building, to make sure that's right. To even look at a possibility of looking at our public works, which we discussed earlier before, which I missed because I had to work. And that project, the reorganization and development of a new police department for the next generation, to work and prepare our community for an ever-changing world, which we see on the world news tonight. How about our emergency management plan to upgrade? You're needed in all these things. These are things that are positive. They're going forward. They're issues that we have right in front of us that we need to deal with, not dealing with all the old things that are just negative. The energy that you take for these issues that are far in the past is amazing to me when we have so many difficult issues facing us. Redevelopment, new buildings coming in. We're in a position where between Washington County and Pittsburgh, and that corridor is really growing and closing. What is our future going to be like? Where are we going to be 25, 30 years from now. That's our job too, and I hope you join us with that, because there's many of us that discuss this with our constituents, with each other, to figure out how we better can serve this community instead of spending this type of time whacking and negative. Let's move in positive things that better this community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Harrison.
As you say, it goes on and on. Mr. O'Brien goes through all of this flyery type talk all the time. Every one of those things you mentioned, not a one of them, nothing we do deserves violating the law. And anybody that can't understand that the mayor violated the law of Bethel Park by not giving the state of the municipality, which is mandated by the Home Rule Charter, that this council, even though they were told on this floor that they were violating the Home Rule Charter, put a question on the ballot. As I say, the question was okay, but the timing was contrary to the Home Rule Charter. And I'm not going to keep quiet when we have a governing body that doesn't care to abide by the law. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, on my last speak, Don, are any of these issues or any other issues that may come up in the future, have you participated in any of these discussions or activities in the last year? I mean, that's what it's all about. You tend to just go back to the old. I understand your point. I don't particularly agree with it, but there's so much to do. Please join us in the work that we need to get done. Please join us. Thank you.
Mr. Mowry? I just want to make one brief comment, and Mr. Harrison indicated that in your most recent remarks, Mr. Mowry, you haven't gone into the details, and he was trying to suggest that there's something about that means it's lacking in validity or credibility. The truth is, we've gone over this issue about the submission of the question on the referendum on this floor so many times that it is not productive for us to keep going over it when the reality is we have had one person who has ever said that what was done was improper, and every other person who has looked at it, including our solicitor and the county election department, has said that what was done was proper. So what was done was proper, what is done, and we should move on. And Mr. Harrison, you can have your opinion, and you've stated it, but there isn't anything additional productive being done by continuing to repeat the argument that is wrong. A wrong argument does not get better by repetition. It is still a wrong argument. So we have defended it, but as Mr. O'Brien is pointing out, we've got other business we'd like to get onto. And so that's, the position though is clear. What was done in the sending of the adopted ordinance to the election department was perfectly appropriate. It's been determined to have been properly and appropriate, and it's been done. So we need to move on. That's the message that we're trying to get across to you, but if you want to use your time on the floor or your time on this council to continue to address an old issue, you're entitled to do that. But do not try to suggest to people that because we want to move on and do other things, that somehow there's some validity to your argument. There is not, and we've already crossed that Rubicon. So we need to move on. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other discussion from council, I'd like to turn to approval of minutes, and Mr.
The regular meeting of June 8th, 2015. I move that we approve the record of council meeting minutes of June 8th, 2015.
There is a motion and a second that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of June 8th, 2015. Any discussion of this item? Ms. Miller, would you please call the roll?
Lola.
Yes.
Gibson.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Gannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Wayne.
Yes.
Mowry.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0.
I think it's a benefit if people don't hear me, some would say.
I could give you a name.
Not you, O'Brien.
Okay, I'd like to turn to the bills and payrolls, and Mr. Hannon.
I move that we approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 071315 in the amount of $1,983,860.77.
There is a motion and a second that we approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 071315 in the amount of $1,983,860.77. Any discussion of this item? Ms. Miller, would you please call the roll?
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons. Yes. Cannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Blaine.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Colella.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. This time I'd like to turn to the resident comment for non-agenda items. If you'd like to come up and state your name and address, and we have a 3-minute limit. At the end of 2 minutes, we'll signify.
Okay, I'll try to hurry up. My name is Robert McCormick. I live at 2856 Cherry Street. I've been a resident of Bethel Park since 1972. All my children, they go to Bethel Park schools. I wanted to start by saying I raised over $100,000 for the Bethel Park School District in the last 5 years, being the president of 3 different PTOs. I have a community organization in Bethel Park called the Community Impact Coalition. That was started about a year and a half ago or so. Our monthly community gatherings, we have guest speakers. Mr. Allen was a guest speaker at one. Bake-offs, anti-drug and alcohol car smashes, cookouts, senior tours, and kickball games for older and younger people. It's really a nice thing. What we do is we build relationships between the elders and the youth. I'm telling you all this because I wanted to kind of give you a background that I'm very invested in this community. And as I said, I'm from Cherry Street. That's Coverdale. Coverdale's our Bethel Park's first neighborhood there. It's a mining town. And we feel at the Community Impact Coalition, with all the growth in Bethel Park, which is great, that we have to kind of go back and remember our roots every once in a while. There's a house down there. It has been abandoned for 12 years. It's 2853 Cherry Street. And what our organization would like to do is to take this house and put it back. It's in an original condition. There's only, this is for different field trips, for tours, for scout groups to go and tour this. There's only one other house like this in the United States, and this is in West Virginia, a little town in West Virginia. And what we'd like to do is, like I said, is go back, restore it, bring it back. I approached the Bethel Park School District because there's, I think, almost $30,000 worth of taxes on it, and they're more than willing to, expunge those, I guess is the word, taxes, then get rid of them. And I went to Mr. Allen and I spoke to him about it. And we have a lot of support from the community, but it's really, you guys got the key. So what I'm asking, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know what the next step is here. I don't know how to go about this, but a house that's that's been abandoned in Bethel Park just shouldn't be. And we have something to do with it. It's costing you guys money for going out there and cutting the grass and to take care of it. We'd like to take it over, but we don't know how. And we're looking for your help to see some way how we can do this and move on and make this, eyesore something great for the community by being a historical landmark. So I think that was under 3 minutes, so I think I'm good.
You did a great job.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Harrison.
May I ask the gentleman a question?
Yes, sir.
What happens after the building's restored? What's the purpose? What's going on then?
I talked to a lot of principals in the neighborhood schools, and this will be an historical site for Bethel Park's first neighborhood. We figured we could do retired coal mining families can come and tour it, scout groups. There's a lot of different things we could do. We're just really trying to preserve Bethel Park's history, and that being the first neighborhood. And that house is actually on Cherry Street. If you look at the Coverdale map, it's right in the center. It's the perfect place for it, and being that it's just sitting there doing nothing right now, we figure we can make something good out of it.
Is the single request you're making of this governing body is to exonerate the taxes, unpaid taxes on the property? Is that all you want this governing body to do?
The school district is the biggest tax there, and we have that taken care of. What we need is, I actually spoke to the bank that used to have a lien on it, and the bank basically washed their hands of the property 12 years ago. They said they don't want anything to do with it, and they said that I have to go to the municipality and actually have you guys take the property over and then work some kind of deal. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I really don't know exactly what to do, or what the steps are to do this, and that's why I'm here tonight, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. We did receive the information from the mayor, and he gave it this past week, so we will be in touch. We'll look at it, and we'll be in touch with you.
Sure. I appreciate anything you could do.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Any other resident comments? Okay, hearing none, can we turn to general policy and finance? And we have no residents signed up to speak, and Mr. McLean.
One item on the agenda this evening, a resolution for the pension custodial agreements with Wilmington Trust M&T Bank. I move that we adopt the resolution agreeing to the custodial agreements with Wilmington Trust M&T Bank associated with the police and non-uniform pension plans.
Second. There's a motion and a second that we adopt a resolution agreeing to the custodial agreement with Wilmington Trust / M&T Bank associate with the police and non-uniform pension plans. Any discussion of this item? Ms. Miller, would you please call the roll?
Gibbons.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Colella.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Mr. McLean.
We have no other agenda items this evening.
Okay, I just have one additional item. I guess we can talk about it here, but I guess we had our last, what we believe to be 4th of July fireworks at South Hills Village because of the construction of the new parking or apartment complex on the Port Authority lot. So it was kind of special for the municipality to host and be a sponsor. I would like to thank the police department for all their efforts and Public Works, the Recreation Department, everybody for putting it together. They do all these good things to make us look good, so hopefully we had a nice traffic control plan, and I had a lot of positive comments that even though there was a lot of people up there, that it seemed to clear out very well. And I also would like to give a special acknowledgement, because this almost didn't happen this year, because the plan, site plan for the new development was approved, Port Authority entered into a long-term lease, but if it wasn't for Mr. McLean reaching out and talking to some people in the industry, they were able to give us a reprieve to have the fireworks there for one last year. So I'd also like to thank Mr. McLean for all his work.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Murray.
Mr. O'Brien.
I'd just like to dovetail on Mr. Murray. I attended the fireworks. It was really nice. It was a beautiful night. Everyone's well behaved. And our police presence and the traffic in and out was great. The staff, Recreation Department, Public Works cleaned up the next day. I just have nothing but wonderful things to say about a wonderful night for Bethel Park. The fire department was great, even though they had a call in the middle, but other than that, it went well. But I have one question. I just want to know, how many Timothy O'Connors are there out there? How many? I mean, I saw him walking through the parking lot. He walked right in front of me. Then I saw him directing traffic in front of the Port Authority car garage. And then I was leaving. He was directing traffic at the corner of Fort Couch and Bethel Church. Do you have brothers or something?
Clones?
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for the day. That's all, Mr. Ryan.
We did notice that, did you receive some special bracelets on the 4th of July via the chief from one of our police officers?
No, I did not.
Just checking.
No, I did not.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Okay, any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to planning and zoning and Mr. Dixon? And we have no residents signed up to speak.
Mr. President, I am pleased to announce that we have no items under planning and zoning tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to health, safety, and welfare and Mr. O'Brien?
Mr. Chairman, there are items on health, safety, and welfare tonight. And item A, appointment to Police Operations Lieutenant. I move that we appoint James Kirsch to the position of Operations Lieutenant with an effective start date and an annual salary to set by the Chief of Police.
There's a motion and a second that we appoint James Kirsch to the position of Operations Lieutenant with the effective start date and annual salary to be set by the Chief of Police. Any discussion of this item? Ms. Miller, would you please call the roll?
Cannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Colella.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Mr. O'Brien.
Letter B, appoint Police Administration Lieutenant. I move that we appoint Blake Thomas Babin to the position of Administrative Lieutenant with an effective start date and annual salary to be set by the Chief of Police.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we appoint Blake Thomas Babin to the position of Administration Lieutenant with effective start date and annual salary to be set by the Chief of Police. Any discussion of this item? You'll notice tonight we're promoting 2 of our officers to lieutenants. over the next several months. We're going to be hiring a few more officers. Council basically, in the interim of hiring the new chief, made a decision that it was important that we got a new chief on board, and it was important that we let him be the guider of the police department and his recommendations. So I appreciate all the work you've done, Chief, and I think this is another step in moving the department forward, and you'll see some more activity probably in August, September with some new hires in the police department. If there's no other discussion, Ms. Miller, would you please call the roll?
Harrison?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Bowery?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Colella?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes.
Givens? Yes. Hammond?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Mr. O'Brien.
Letter C, ordinance, civil service rules and regulations. I move that we approve the ordinance approving amendments to the rules and regulations of the Civil Service Commission of the Municipality of Bethel Park.
There is a motion and second that we approve the ordinance approving amendments to the rules and regulations of the Civil Service Commission of the Municipality of Bethel Park. Any discussion of this item?
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Harrison.
I'm going to vote for this, but I still have a concern about an item in the rules and regulations, which I've had counsel to address at the committee meeting 2 weeks tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Any additional items? Excuse me, any additional comments? Hearing none, Ms. Miller, would you please call the roll?
McLean?
Yes.
Bowery?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Colella?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes.
Givens?
Yes.
Hammond?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. Murray, there are no other items.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to Public Works and Maintenance and Ms. Gibbons?
Park Avenue field improvements. I move that we approve the Park Avenue field improvements project for a low bid amount of $43,900 to Plavchak Construction Company.
Second.
There is a motion and second that we approve the Park Avenue Field Improvements Project for a low bid amount of $43,900 to Plavchak Construction Company. Any discussion of this item? Ms. Miller, would you please call the roll?
O'Brien?
Yes.
Colella?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes.
Givens?
Yes.
Hammond?
Yes.
Harrison? McLean?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes 8-0. Ms. Gibbons.
There are no additional items.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Any additional items?
Mr. Murray.
Mr. O'Brien.
You know, even though we are a large community, we still manage that small town connection. I read a story last week about a wonderful mailman who passed away in my neighborhood, and the calls I got were pretty numerous. That shows that people do watch this. In fact, our Bethel Park poet, Judith Mayer, who wrote the Bethel Park poem and wrote Terror from the Skies, which we, back in from 9/11, we actually made into a semi-documentary on Channel 7. She wrote a poem for John, and she asked me to read it tonight. So I will. This is John, our mailman, who was getting to retire. Our mailman John. The time has come for you, mailman John, to turn in your Jeep. For you soon be gone through rain and sleet. Heat and snow, you walked our hills high and low, bringing our letters from far and near, taking our mail, whether rain or clear. Ever so friendly, funny, and kind, another like you, John, will be difficult to find. We wish you happiness, much luck, and fun, enjoying your retirement, basking in the sun. So it's kind of a neat connection between a mailman and some of my residents. And in fact, within that month, another great friend of John McClellan passed away, and she was a remarkable woman. Her and her husband, Alice W. Sloan and John, they were a kind of a staple fixture on Fairview Drive, her and her sons. And if you know her sons, they put their mother and dad through quite a lot. And I knew this family, and especially Alice, before I even became on council. Her life was based with very strong biblical foundations, and she always had a kind and a smile and a kind word for people. And her grandson at her wake, Danny Sloan, who works for the school district, he said, when you came between the houses on Fairview, the Graham's house, no matter if you were family, even if you weren't family, you were family. You know, Alice had tremendous tragedies in her life. Some of her tragedies are even too hard for me to imagine or even to deal with. But through those tragedies, she taught others how to deal with it, not dealing with her own sadness and her own sorrow. She turned out to be a great teacher. And for her grandchildren and the people over there, we will very, very much miss her. And I'm very glad she touched my life. So I bid you farewell, Alice W. Sloan. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Any additional items? Hearing none, a
Move we
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone.